Chicago, Illinois, December 19th, 2:14 a.m. The email was only 4 words long. I like your curtains. Jessica's stomach dropped. She stared at the screen, unblinking, the silence of her studio apartment growing heavier by the second. She lived on the 5th floor. Her windows faced the alley. No one could see her curtains unless they were close. Too close. She closed the laptop and stood frozen in place. The glow of the street lamp outside casting long shadows across her hardwood floor. She checked the locks again. All deadbolts secured. But when she turned off the lights, she hesitated and left them on. 3 weeks earlier, it started on the train. A man, late 30s, bearded, pale, always dressed in black. He'd get on at the Belmont station, just as Jessica did, sit across from her, never blink, never speak, never smile. She chalked it up to city weirdness, until she saw him outside the grocery store. Then again, outside her gym. She mentioned it to her co-worker Rachel, who laughed and said, "Girl, maybe he's into you." Jessica didn't laugh. That night, she found a single black glove on her front steps. She didn't own one. Second encounter, 1 week later. Walking home from work in the biting cold, Jessica felt it again, that prickle on her neck, like being watched. She turned sharply. Empty sidewalk. Her apartment was 5 blocks away. She sped up. Halfway there, she heard footsteps. Light at first, then heavier, closer. She spun around. No one. She ducked into a 24/7 diner and ordered a coffee with shaky hands. From inside, she saw him, standing across the street, not moving, just watching. 2 days later, she installed a Ring camera outside her door. The first night it recorded something. 2:53 a.m. A tall man in black walks up to her door, kneels, places a white envelope on the mat. He looks directly into the camera. He smiles. The footage cut to static. She called the police. They took a report. Told her it was probably someone pulling a sick prank. The envelope was empty, but it smelled like her perfume. December 17th. Jessica was losing sleep. Dark circles formed under her eyes. She hadn't been to work in 2 days. She'd stopped taking the train. She was too afraid to leave the apartment. Then her phone buzzed. New airdrop request. IMG_1376.jpg. She was alone. No one else around. She declined it. It buzzed again. IMG_1377.jpg. This time, her curiosity gave in. She accepted it. The photo was of her, taken from outside her window. She was brushing her teeth. He was that close. Again. The breaking point, December 18th. She stayed up all night with a kitchen knife in hand. Every creak in the walls, every car horn outside, made her jump. At 3:41 a.m., the lights flickered. Then her phone lit up. A message from an unknown number. "I'm inside." Her heart froze. She didn't scream. She just stood, knife clutched, staring at her bedroom door. She searched the apartment, every closet, every cabinet. Nothing. But then, she found her bathroom mirror slightly fogged. She hadn't used it in hours. Final night, December 19th. Jessica invited Rachel to stay the night. Strength in numbers. They drank wine, watched loud, dumb movies, pretended things were normal. At midnight, they both dozed off on the couch. At 2:27 a.m., the Ring app chimed. Motion detected. Rachel stirred. Jessica opened the feed with trembling hands. It was static again. Then a whisper, so faint they almost missed it. I was already here. Jessica threw the phone across the room. Rachel backed toward the door. Then they noticed it, the closet in the hall, slightly ajar. Jessica approached it slowly, knife in hand. Rachel stood behind, frozen. She grabbed the handle, threw it open. Empty, but taped to the inside wall was a photo of Jessica and Rachel asleep on the couch, taken minutes ago. And in the reflection of the TV screen in the photo, a pale, bearded man was standing behind them. December 20th. Jessica's apartment was found empty. No signs of forced entry. Blood on the curtain, but no body. The last footage on her Ring camera, 3:06 a.m., showed her opening the door. She didn't look scared. She looked calm, as if she was expecting someone. Police reviewed the footage dozens of times. They all missed the same thing. In the far left corner of the frame, standing in the hallway just before the door opened, the man in black, smiling, again. Boston, Massachusetts, January 3rd, 5:42 a.m. It was still dark when Claire heard her front door unlock. She lived alone. There was no sound of footsteps, no creak of the floorboards, just the quiet slide of the deadbolt turning, like someone who knew exactly how loud was too loud. She didn't move, didn't breathe. She waited, and after 10 seconds, she heard the door click shut again. Whoever came in had already left. 2 months earlier, it began with whispers. At first, she thought it was in her head. Stress, maybe. The new apartment was still unfamiliar. Too many strange noises, strange shadows. But the whispers always came when she spoke. Not before, not after. Only when she talked. She tested it. "Coffee," she muttered one morning. From somewhere in the walls, a second voice repeated it. Whispered, mocking. "Coffee," she told her landlord, who shrugged. "These old brownstones carry sound weird. Could be your neighbors." But the whisper was always her voice, repeated with a delay. Not an echo, an imitation. 3 weeks later, Claire kept a routine. Jog in the evening, wine before bed, a short journal entry to unwind. It was all normal, private, until she noticed a stranger. A man, late 30s, clean-cut, always wore headphones. Seemed harmless, but he was always just behind her on the jogging trail. Same pace, same turns, same endpoint. At first, she chalked it up to coincidence, until one night, he passed her and she heard him mutter, "Left at the fountain," then stop at a bench, 3 sips of water. Her exact route, her exact habits. She froze. He smiled without turning, and kept jogging. A week later, Claire woke up to a post-it note on her bathroom mirror. Red wine, 2 sips, cry, sleep. She tore it off and called the police. They found no sign of forced entry. Nothing was stolen. But that night, the whispers came back. This time, they didn't mimic her. They predicted her. At 8:02 p.m., she heard a breathy voice say, "Now you'll pour the wine." She paused. A minute later, despite herself, she reached for the bottle. Stopped halfway. The voice came again. 2 sips. She dropped the glass. December 22nd. Claire installed cameras. 3 inside, 1 above the front door. The next morning, she woke up to find all of them disabled, unplugged, turned slightly toward the wall. Only one camera remained active, the one outside. She reviewed the footage. At 2:34 a.m., a man in a dark hoodie approached. He stood still, then began mimicking her movements. He raised a pretend wine glass, took 2 fake sips, wiped invisible tears, then mimed laying his head down, just like she did the night before. He did it perfectly, down to the timing. He knew everything. Christmas Day. Desperate, Claire stayed at a friend's house for the night. She needed to breathe. In the morning, she got a text from an unknown number. "You didn't write in your journal last night. I did it for you." She rushed home. On her desk sat her journal open. The last entry was dated Christmas Eve. It was in her handwriting, but she never wrote it. December 24th. Jogged 2.3 miles. Saw him again, headphones, steady pace. I smiled this time. I think I want to know him. Wine. 1 sip. I waited. He didn't come in, but I wish he would. The last line was underlined. I wish he would. Claire dropped the journal. It wasn't just imitation anymore. He was rewriting her. January 3rd now. The door had unlocked and relocked. No sign of a break-in. Nothing missing. But something felt off. The kitchen towel had been refolded, the way Claire did it. The couch pillow was fluffed, not sunken. Everything was in place. Too perfect. She picked up her phone to call 911. Before she could dial, her phone buzzed. A voicemail. From her own number. She played it. It was her voice. "Don't call. He's watching. You'll ruin it. Tonight, you'll finally meet him. You've waited long enough." She dropped the phone and ran to the door. Tried to leave. It was locked. Deadbolt turned from the inside. Final entry. Discovered January 4th. Police found the journal on Claire's desk. A new entry had been written. January 3rd. He finally came in. He sat beside me. We didn't speak. We didn't have to. He already knew everything. I think I'll STI with him. Her phone, found beside the journal, was recording. The screen was still active. In the final seconds of the video, a man's voice whispered, gentle, intimate, "Now you're mine." And then silence. Claire was never found.